You may never in your life, which hopefully will be a long one, hear an interview as delightful as this one with Vera Cox. Vera was born June 21st, 1915. So she's 106. She grew up in Brampton and now lives comfortably in the Woodhull Park Retirement Village in Brampton. This woman still has a wonderful sense of humor. She recalls that she was born just after the start of World War I.
Yes, I was around in 1915, but I didn't start the war. It was in 1914.
So you're not to blame.
No, nor the Second War either.
Did you grow up in Brampton? Were you born in Brampton?
I was born in Brampton, yes, proud to say it, though it's not the same.
What do you remember as a little girl? Tell me about being a little girl growing up in Brampton in 1915, 1920 area.
Well, I do remember we played jacks with a ball and also double dutch skipping, roller skating.
I remember horses too, you told me.
Oh, yes. And my grandfather had a horse. He did like odd jobs, plow your field or your garden and things like that. And we were living at the corner of Lynch Street and Queen Street. My grandmother had a boarding house.
Your incredible life started before the vehicle age, before television, the internet, a couple of world wars, multiple prime ministers. What events stand out? What are the most important events that you witnessed?
That I witnessed.
That mattered in your life?
Well, it didn't really matter, but one of the highlights was seeing the Queen. Now, it was just in a parade, but I was thrilled to see her coming down the street in her... now, she had a vehicle. I know she wasn't. Or she might have had a horse. She did have a famous horse, didn't she?
You had 5 sisters?
Yes.
What were their names?
Oh, Lillian, Hazel, Gwen, Margaret, one in the middle of Velma.
And just, who do you miss the most?
Well, Lillian was close to my age, and they lived just around the corner.
Lillian was almost 100 too.
Yes, she would have been 4 months exactly to the day.
You were in high school in the 1930s. Was it strict?
Very, very strict. You called all the teachers Mr. or Miss. Not like today.
Do you think that life was better in the 40s and 50s than it is today?
Well, technically, no. But yes, for living, yes. Freer, I would say.
What was so good about the 50s that makes it better than today?
That's when everything came alive. Television, central heating, yes. All the new inventions came, like television. Whoever thought that we'd have people that could speak and you could see? That was a marvelous creation.
What's your favorite television show?
Well, I do watch Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy. I have lost my eyesight, and I can't see that much. I can't see a thing, but I can sort of picture those two programs.
Tell me about World War II. What did you do during World War II?
Like a lot of the girls, they had a recruiting office right in Brampton, downtown Brampton, because all the fellows were overseas, my brother included. And I got it. Now, anodizing is putting a coating on sheet metal. And some of it was really heavy, till a nurse came along and said nobody should work there, no girls should work there. And I got on electrical inspection.
And what company was that?
A-V-Roe, R-O-E. It's at the corner of Malton and, well, Brampton.
For over 3 decades, Vera was a smart lady running her own business, a retail store.
Yes, I did. Right in downtown Brampton, 4th from the Royal Bank, and 4 Corners. And we worked a long time at it, and it was quite successful.
What products did you sell?
We sold baby's wear and knitting wool, and we sold skeins after skein of knitting wool. That heavy yarn that, you know, you had reindeers on the back of it.
Is there a story about a flood in your store?
Oh, you bet. We were always due for the floods. The Etobicoke River ran right at the back of our place. And in the wintertime, the Caruso kids and Gord Vivian's kids used to play hockey there all the time. Our basement was filled with water up to the second shelf of the store. And I recruited my brother, my mother, my father, and my young brother, and anyone else I knew.
This flood, strangely, ruined a large shipment of feminine products.
Tampax and Modus used to be sort of under-the-counter products. We had to buy it in big cartons. You couldn't buy 1 or 2 at a time. And, of course, the water doesn't do them any good. So, and there was all these pads floating around in the basement. And my young brother, he was about 12, 13, 14 at the time. He wanted to know from Dad what they were. And so my dad had to give him a lesson as well as helping.
The success of Vera's store had so much to do with her philosophy that whatever the customer wanted, the customer would get.
I worked hard. If somebody wanted something and we didn't have it, I'd phone Toronto, and it would cost 15 cents to make a phone call. And I would get in my car, go down and get it, and come back, phone the lady, and she'd be there in the afternoon to pick it up.
Sounds like you were a very good businesswoman.
Well, 32 and a half years I was at that store.
Vera, I'm told you were never married. Is that the secret to a long life, never having a husband?
Oh, sure.
Did you have boyfriends?
Oh, yes. Yeah. One I went with for years.
What was his name?
His name, Harold.
What happened to Harold?
Well, he never was in good health. He had one leg amputated when he was a Boy Scout. And he never worked. And then he lived in Oshawa. And that was a long distance to go back and forth.
And did he die at a young age?
I think he was in his 30s. No, he'd be older than that. Probably in his 40s.
When you live such a remarkably long life, you're going to lose everyone the same age as you, all of your contemporaries,
Yeah.
your family and your friends. How sad is that?
Very sad. I've lost a great many so far. We used to have reunions, but we don't have them anymore. So many people have gone now.
I asked Vera to pick out the person in her very long life that she admired the most.
The person I most admired. We had a big house of our own with 7 kids. And now and then my grandfather lived with us for 12 years. And I was very fond of him, I think.
Well, which prime minister did you like the best?
Which, now that's a difficult question. I wouldn't give any of them a gold star. Well, Diefenbaker lasted a long time. I don't think his policies were that good, but he stayed in power.
How about this? Can you imagine 90 years ago getting your first car?
Oh, I guess I got my dad's second-hand car. Probably a Ford.
What year are we talking about?
I think I got my dad's car, and he was with me. I know I wasn't 16. Could be around 16.
1931.
I mean, everybody drove. At least if you had a car handy like your parents.
Did you get a letter from the Prime Minister when you turned 100?
I got one from the Queen. Yes, I did.
Vera?
Yes.
Did you ever get in trouble? Were you ever arrested? Did you ever do anything that you regret?
Oh, I got a ticket for parking once. The snow was so high, I didn't see the fire hydrant. And that was the only ticket I got in all that great driving.
That's the worst thing you've ever done?
Well, that they found out.
Have you got any advice for young people today?
stay in school, get an education. You can't go anywhere without an education.